lies, I was sure I could get in to see it. No sweat. "Excuse me," I said to the guard sitting near the closed doors. I held out my lunch sack. "This is for my dad." "Your dad?" the guard asked. "Yeah, he's working inside there on the Dinosaur display." The guard gave me a careful look over. I blinked at him, pushed up my glasses, and gave him my best innocent puppy dog stare. Finally, he nodded. Opera started to follow, but the guard held out his hand. "Not you, son. Just him." "But I have the napkins," Opera stammered, as he pulled out a wad of used tissues. "We packed his dad a fresh peach, and if I don't get him this napkin, the juice will drip all down his wrist and arm and make a terrible—" Opera came to a stop. It was a nice try, but obviously not working. The man just looked at him. I gave Opera a shrug. It wasn't my fault he wasn't as good a liar as I was. I walked to the doors, pushed them open, and stepped inside. Wow! It was huge, like something out of Jurassic Park. Only by the looks of things, this particular dinosaur needed to put on a bit more weight. You've heard of people being skin and bones? Well, old Tyrannosaurus Rex here was bones and bones. That's right. From her tail all the way to her pointy fangs, she was just your basic dinosaur skeleton. But even at that, I'd still hate to meet her in a dark prehistoric alley. There were 5 or 6 guys in overalls working on her. Most were up on ladders, so no one really noticed when I sneaked up to the towering giant. Mistake number 1. Well, actually number 2 if you count me lying to get inside. Next, I reached out and touched the critter's right leg bone. Mistake number 3, if you're still keeping score. But the touching wasn't the problem. It was the letting go. I couldn't. They had coated the whole thing in some sort of liquid plastic. A liquid plastic that hadn't dried yet. A liquid plastic that was great for protecting the skeleton, but bad for me, unless I wanted to be a permanent part of the display. In short, I was stuck big time. I tried pulling my hand away. Nothing. I pulled harder. Still nothing. I set down my lunch sack and tugged with everything I had. Ugh! Ah! At last something gave, and fortunately it wasn't my hand. It was the leg bone. The entire thing popped out of its socket. Uh-oh. The skeleton started to creak. Everyone stopped working. They looked around until they spotted me. I tried to hide the bone behind my back. A little tricky since it was about 5.5 feet long, and I'm about 5.5 feet tall. I flashed them my famous McDoogle the Idiot grin. No one smiled back. The skeleton continued to groan and creak. It was beginning to tilt. "She's coming down!" someone cried. That someone was right. Thanks to the little leg amputation I just performed, old Rexy girl thought it was time to lie down. Fast. Suddenly it started raining, but not water. It was raining dinosaur bones. That's right. Teeth, vertebrae, arms, you name it. It was coming down like cats and dogs. Well, actually, like tibias and fibulas. That's bone talk in case any of you want to be doctors. The workers leaped off their ladders and ran for the doors, screaming, "Look out! Look out!" Wanting to participate in the fun and games, I joined in with a little running and screaming of my own. Ah! Actually, a lot of screaming. Suddenly, Rexy gave me a hand. Literally. Her right paw crashed down on my shoulder like a huge prehistoric pat on the back and sent me sprawling to the ground. Oof! It was then when I noticed my lunch sack near the door. Funny, it was a dozen yards from where I set it down. I dragged myself toward it. I didn't do this because I was hungry. I did it because I was planning ahead. I figured I'd need a decent meal before dying. I just hoped that my lunch had been packed by Mom.